All right, let's dive into question-based selling, or QBS. Now, this isn't just another sales tactic. Think of it as a scientific method for completely reframing the sales process, moving away from pitching and towards diagnosing. It's all about mastering one single thing, asking the right questions, so you can stop being a vendor and start being a trusted strategic advisor.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the core philosophy behind QBS. Then we'll break down its structured four-phase process. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of specific techniques, look at the common mistakes that can totally derail you, and see how it all clicks in a real-world case study. And we'll wrap it all up with a handy framework you can use as your own playbook.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about the big idea, the foundational principle of QBS. It's all about a strategic shift. You gain control of the conversation and build some serious trust, not by making statements, but by asking really insightful questions. So what is question-based selling really? Well, the whole framework positions you, the salesperson, as a doctor of selling. Think about it. A doctor would never, ever write a prescription without a full diagnosis first, right? That'd be malpractice. QBS applies that exact same thinking to sales. Your job is to use a logical sequence of questions to figure out what's really going on with a prospect before you even think about proposing a solution.
You know, the shift here is huge. The old school telling is selling model, that's all about you, your product, your company. It basically turns you into a peddler. But when you switch to questioning as selling, the focus flips completely to the customer's world. And that's what elevates your status from someone just pushing a product to a genuine advisor who's there to help them figure things out.
Peter Drucker absolutely nailed the ideal outcome here. And QBS, well, that's the framework for actually making it happen. When you use questions to truly get a handle on a customer's challenges and their goals, the solution you offer becomes the most logical, obvious next step for them, not just another sale for you.
Okay, so we've got the why. Now let's get into the how. QBS isn't just a cool idea. It's a repeatable, structured, four-phase conversation. This is the actual methodology for conducting your diagnosis with precision.
This is your playbook for every single conversation. First, you have to break through their mental chatter, their preoccupation. Second, you do a deep dive diagnostic analysis to find out what they really need. Third, you zero in on that one big decisive factor, what we call the hot button. And finally, you confirm that your solution makes sense to them before you even try to close.
Phase 1 is all about earning the right to have a conversation. Look, your prospect is busy, they're distracted. You've got maybe 30 seconds, tops, to cut through all that noise. The tool you use for this is called the brick through the window. It's a powerful, open-ended question that focuses only on a potential business result, a big benefit, and it completely bypasses all their sales pitch defenses.
Once you have their attention, the real diagnosis begins. Your goal here is to get past the surface-level stuff, the stated needs, and dig down to the real operational needs. And if you're really good, you'll uncover the secret, personal needs that are driving their decisions. The key here is the spotlight rule. As long as the customer is talking, you are winning, because you're gathering critical data. And this is a pro move. Seriously. After the prospect finishes an answer, just pause for 3 to 5 seconds. Don't say a word. It transfers all the conversational pressure over to them. That silence creates this little vacuum that people feel they have to fill, and they often fill it with the unscripted, candid information that reveals what they're truly concerned about.
And this quote from Galileo, it's really the heart of this whole diagnostic phase. Your questions aren't there to tell the prospect what they need. They're designed to guide them to a point where they discover it for themselves. That aha moment creates a kind of buy-in that is so much more powerful than any sales pitch you could ever give.
Okay, in these last phases, your focus gets super sharp. All your diagnostic work should lead you to the hot button, that one key benefit that will actually make them take action. And you got to figure out if it's a business win, like boosting efficiency, or a personal win, like making them look great to their boss. Then you use trial close questions to make sure you're both on the same page about the solution before asking for a final commitment.
All right, we have the philosophy, we have the process. Now let's talk tools. What are you actually going to use to navigate these 4 phases and pull out that high-quality information?
Think of these as your essential toolkit. Asking for clarification helps you drill down past those vague statements. Paraphrasing what they said back to them, that's the acid test of listening. It proves you actually get it. Answering their question with another question keeps you in the driver's seat. And underneath it all is the 80-20 rule.
You're always searching for that critical 20% of benefits that will drive 80% of their decision to buy. Look, if you only master one technique from this whole thing, make it this one. How do you mean? It's like a universal key. When a prospect throws out a vague objection, something like, "It's too expensive," this simple, non-confrontational question forces them to get specific. It turns a roadblock into a real problem that you can actually solve. It's a game changer.
Okay, so we've talked about what to do, but just as important, maybe even more important, is what not to do. Knowing the common pitfalls is absolutely critical to your success.
You can think of these as the credibility killers. Feature dumping? That's prescribing before diagnosing. It absolutely kills the sale. Accepting "I'll think it over." That's just a polite no, and it means you failed to uncover the real objection. Trying to have a serious conversation while someone is standing, it just signals that it's not important. And interrupting? Well, that just screams, "My agenda is more important than yours," and it shatters any trust you've built.
All right, this all sounds great in theory, right? But what does it look like in the real world? Let's check out a case study that shows the incredible difference between a normal, product-focused pitch and a disciplined QBS approach.
So let's talk about Betty. She was selling office automation consulting, and it was not going well. She was getting shot down immediately almost every time, with the classic no-budget excuse. The real problem? She was selling a feature, not an outcome, and nobody cared.
And here's the pivot. This is brilliant. Betty stopped talking about what she did and started asking about a result she could deliver. This new question is a perfect brick through the window. See how it's not about her solution? It's about their bottom line. It instantly reframes the whole conversation from "this is a cost" to "this is a potential profit center."
And the results? They were staggering. Her sales doubled, then they tripled. This wasn't some kind of lucky break. It was the direct result of using a better diagnostic process that let her find, qualify, and perfectly align her solution with a real high-priority business need.
Okay, let's pull all of this together into one simple framework that you can literally take with you and use for planning your calls and executing them flawlessly.
Think of this matrix as your QBS cheat sheet. For every phase of the sale, you have a clear objective, the exact type of question you should be using, and a success metric that tells you you've earned the right to move on to the next stage. It's the entire diagnostic process, right here, designed for disciplined execution.
And at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. Question-based selling isn't about manipulation or tricks. It's a systematic process for engineering trust. And as Stephen Covey said, trust is the glue. In any complex sale and any relationship, that trust is your ultimate and most sustainable competitive advantage.